Jagmeet Singh is out of reasons to continue propping up the Liberal government. Calgary businessman Brett Wilson has agreed to arrange private funding for the NDP leader's pension if he agrees to bring down the government, triggering the election that Canadians want. 2025 looks to be a very promising year indeed. I'm Rachel Parker. Welcome back to The Rachel Parker Show. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rachel Parker Show. I'm your host, Rachel Parker. We are joined today by the man, Brett Wilson himself, who is going to tell us about his plan to privately fund NDP leader Jagmeet Singh's pension in hope that he will trigger an early election. So, Brett, I want to start off. I saw a report from CBC News this week that said that Jagmeet Singh would be eligible to claim $66,000 a year annually, beginning at the age of 65. How much are you actually willing to fund for him to help pay for his pension if he agrees to trigger an early election?
Well, let's go back to big picture. One of the greatest investments I could ever make in this country is making sure that we move to an election quickly. And the only impediment to an election quickly is Jagmeet Singh. He says he doesn't trust Trudeau, but he refuses to act on his own words. So I started out with a bit of a smartass comment on Twitter saying that I would fund his his accelerated pension plan, and whatever that is. I've seen numbers, two plus million. And let me tell you, as much as I could afford to do that myself for the right reasons, again, investing in Canada, I've had a dozen different people reach out and say, can I participate in your program? And one of my friends said, I might even make money giving a pension to Jagmeet. There's that many people interested in seeing him gone. Now, whether this is legal, don't know. Is it ethical? I think so. I don't know how the government works, nor do I care. The real point is to drive home, Jagmeet, you're done.
So you said that you've had people reaching out to you who are willing to help fund this,
Oh, yeah.
and they said they'd actually come out ahead. Now, are they actually saying they'll come out ahead because some of the restrictions from the Trudeau government would be rolled back under a conservative government? How would they come out ahead under this?
No, it would be I that would come out ahead in the context of if I needed to raise 2.3 million, one of my senior legal partner at a law firm in Calgary looked at me and said, "You'll have no trouble raising more than $2.5 million to get rid of Jagmeet." And again, it's an investment in Canada. It's got nothing to do with where it goes. Happens to be going to Jagmeet. Jagmeet's doing nothing for Canada now, so when he leaves, he'll be doing nothing for Canada. But more importantly, the fact that we can call an election, and the odds of Trudeau getting reelected slim to nil. But more importantly, let's let the people of Canada call the shots. I'm not happy that Bloc Québécois gets to delay the program. I'm really unhappy with the way the NDP has dawdled and delayed the whole protocol. And again, Jagmeet will say, I don't trust, I don't believe, I don't honor the grounds that Trudeau walks on, and yet he refuses to act when Poilievre calls his shots and says, look, all right, well, then let's call for a non-confidence vote. Let's call for an election. And so, as much as it seems silly that one individual would put up 2.5 million, if I'm going to invest in Canada, one of the greatest things, I mean, to be blunt, if we could change governments, I'd make more in a year than giving up that call at that 2.5 million because of the investments, because of the opportunity. And again, whether you like Trump or hate him, I mean, a lot of people don't like Trump, the man. I honor Trump, the leader. And what he's forcing Canada to do right now is good for Canada. Ultimately, we will be better off as we can ship fossil fuels to the world, ship fossil fuels to the US, all of that. It seems irrelevant, but Trudeau's not the guy to do those negotiations. Certainly Jagmeet's not. So the quicker we get rid of Jagmeet, the quicker we can get on to a proper relationship with the rest of the world.
You brought up Donald Trump. One of the reasons that this conversation is so pertinent right now is because it seems that the Liberal government, or at least Liberal leader and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, have never seemed closer to falling, with the resignation of Chrystia Freeland earlier this month, kind of knifing Trudeau in the back on her way out, accusing him of costly political gimmicks. On her way out, Chrystia Freeland acknowledged that her and the Prime Minister had disagreed with how to handle the threat of Donald Trump's tariffs. Do you attribute any of what's gone on this month with Justin Trudeau never having been in a weaker position? Do you attribute any of that to Donald Trump?
I do. And I actually believe, I mean, after Trump had dinner with Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago, he, within 24, 48 hours, was kind of making fun of the guy, of Trump, Trump making fun of Trudeau, rather, in the context of, let's see whether or not the governor of Canada is on side with converting Canada into the 51st state. And people have got their backs up. I've seen that. But there isn't a moment where Trump really believes that the 51st state is an issue. He's making fun of Trudeau. He's making fun of Canada in backing Trudeau. That's all he's doing. And so the quicker we can align and get rid of Trudeau, the quicker we can get to the negotiating table. Again, I genuinely believe, you watch what's happening now. The government of Canada announced yesterday a $1.3 billion upgrade to our border system. Why did that happen? One reason: Donald Trump. Got Danielle Smith working in the background doing the same thing. You got a bit of noise. And again, social media, or pardon me, legacy media has been pretty focused on the fact that Trump's calling for tariffs. They don't finish the sentence, which is Trump's calling for tariffs if we don't get our shit together and fix the border crossing. We had Nenshi yesterday said one of the stupidest things. He said a lot of stupid things. He and I don't get along, but he said one of the stupidest things imaginable. We'd sent 44, they'd caught 44 pounds of fentanyl going across the border. And he flippantly says, well, that's not very much. Well, you do the math. It turns out that could kill 10 million people. That's not very much, says Nenshi. Get out of the way. But the real picture is that we've got the federal government is now stepping up. We've got provincial governments, and to varying degrees, stepping up. We're fixing our border problem. Why? One reason: Donald Trump.
You've said to Jagmeet Singh that you'll privately fund his pension if he agrees to trigger an election in the early months of 2025. When specifically does this offer expire?
You know, one of the problems is not quite understanding what the date is that allows him to get his full pension. And I'm reading materials now that suggest that as long as he stays in office, excuse me, until the end of February, he gets his full pension. Can I wait till then? Not willingly, not happily, but let's just say that by the 15th of January, the offer that I've made, which will guarantee him his full pension starting immediately, let's say that it has to end on January 15th. We need time to call an election. We need time to have that election. We need time to change governments. And so the sooner it is, the better.
And have you actually had any contact with either the NDP leader or anyone in his party to, discuss this offer with them specifically?
I texted Jagmeet's brother, who's followed me on Twitter for a while. No response yet. So maybe he's just not going to respond. I mean, obviously it's been flagged. I don't know if Jagmeet thinks it's serious. I had the privilege of being on a couple of radio shows before he was leader of the opposition with him. We got along great. He was an enjoyable person to banter with, and again, it was pre him taking the position he's taken now. So he's met me. We've met again. Friends, no. Acquaintances, yes. But no, they're not responding in any way, shape, or form. And by the way, I couldn't be more delighted that Mark Carney has chosen to wait. I still think he's going to try and play a role in the Liberal Party, but I think Carney was smart to stay away from the Liberal Party as we know it today. So Jagmeet, not good. The Liberal Party, not good. Trudeau, not good. I think Chrystia Freeland left in a way that she thinks she can then run to be leader of the party. I've made fun of her on social media. She comes across like a cocaine addicted queen, and the giggling and the wiggling and it doesn't seem right. It doesn't. I mean, she's almost Kamala Harris in terms of at times goofy. There's
Yeah,
my
there
remark.
definitely there's something seems to be something a little bit amiss with Chrystia Freeland if you watch how she presented herself even from a few years ago to
Yes.
now. We've touched on it a little bit, the sinking ship of the Liberal Party. What are your predictions for 2025? Is Justin Trudeau going to step down as leader of the Liberal Party and we will simply see a Liberal Party leadership race? Do you think that we will have an early election, or do you think that Trudeau might hold on all the way to the bitter end in October? Maybe something else entirely. What's your 2025 predictions?
My judgment is that Trudeau will step down because he acknowledges, recognizes, reluctantly understands that he's going to get slaughtered If he stays on as leader of the Liberal Party in the next federal election, they are going to get slaughtered. The best chance they have of not being slaughtered is to choose another leader. And if they have a brand new leadership program, that might be where Chrystia Freeland steps up, might be where, for example, Mark Carney steps up. So my bet, and again, my wish is that Trudeau stays in power and calls an election. But my bet is that he's going to step down, acknowledging that he cannot be the ultimate failure.
Brett, thank you so much.
Appreciate the opportunity, Rachel, always.
All right, everyone. That was Brett Wilson, a Calgary businessman and entrepreneur who is offering to privately fund NDP leader Jagmeet Singh's pension. Something tells me that Jagmeet Singh is not going to take him up on the offer, though that would be good news for Canadians. Now, it is our last episode of 2024. I just wanted to take a few brief seconds here and go through some of your comments from the last two episodes. I feel like some of the last episodes I've done have gone on a bit longer. I haven't quite gotten to some of your thoughts. So I wanted to take a few minutes and do that now. I got actually a comment from an American conservative in Florida. He writes, "Hey yo, Black conservative from Florida here, and I honestly think what Donald Trump did had a drip effect to the overall outcome of what's happening. I live near West Palm and I was shocked that Trudeau came down here to congratulate Trump. I can honestly see what most people don't like Trudeau, but it was weird where all the other world leaders celebrated Trump and he came down. The trolling and mocking is directed towards Justin and not the Canadian people. 25% tariffs was a measure to make your people get stuff done on your end of the border, but seeing the reactions and what has taken place, they have not been doing jack. So the threat was just to make people tighten up, and seeing how things are going with plans on sorting things out on the Canadian side, we should be good. That's up to Donald Trump and the gang. Much love from Florida, guys. So yes, as you know, Brett himself said, and I think I've echoed on this show probably 5 or 6 times now, it seems very clear to me Donald Trump is joking. He's not looking to make Canada a US state, but the joke has played off more effectively than he probably ever imagined with all the disarray that we are seeing in the Liberal Party. And I expect, honestly, that these jokes are going to continue. That he might even ramp them up considering the discord he has been able to cause among the Canadian Liberal government. Another user said, "Why is this channel not mentioning the deal offered about to stop the illegal immigration and to stop the fentanyl problem, and why our government doesn't want the deal?" I've covered the border crisis and the trade negotiations between Donald Trump and Canada probably 5 or 6 times now. And I think 3 of those shows have been almost entirely dedicated to talking about the work on the border. Did an episode of Rachel and the Republic on this. I did an episode of the Rachel Parker Show. I had an interview with Alberta Premier Danielle Smith almost entirely about the issues on the border, as well as what the Alberta government is doing to ramp up security there. So in the last week, we've been focused a little bit on the trolling and some of the ways that Donald Trump has been able to cause discord among the Liberal Party. But this channel specifically has talked extensively about Donald Trump's request for Canada to stop the illegal immigration and flow of drugs. Maybe you haven't seen those episodes, but I specifically have done a number of episodes and covered that issue quite extensively. Another user said in response to me saying that I've grown up, I've become an adult in the Justin Trudeau era. He writes, "Sucks to be Rachel. I grew up in the Chrétien and Harper eras. I prefer only Alberta to be an American state. Canada will never survive without Alberta." And finally, this comment right here made me laugh. I believe this was my interview with Anthony Koch. User at Corey B. Jarniston writes, "Are you two having a blinking contest?" I'm honestly so self-conscious of how much I blink on this show because I have these 2 massive lights to make sure that I have good and even lighting all across my face when I am recording for you guys. And they are so bright that it actually really hurts my eyes. And I find that I have to blink quite a bit more than I normally would. Sometimes I try to stop blinking because of how much my eyes are hurting and just can't be done. So yes, I do definitely blink more than you usually would when I am recording the show. Okay, guys, that brings us to the end of our coverage for 2024. Thank you guys so much for your support and for your comments and your constructive criticism and your notes and your words of encouragement over the last year. And I am so grateful to have an audience because I love what I do and I can continue to do this work because of you, the people who watch and enjoy our content. So I hope that you guys have a very blessed New Year's Eve. And I am looking forward to 2025. I have a good feeling about 2025. I think good things are on the horizon for Canada. All right, everyone, take care. I'll see you next year. God bless.